And, you know, the Japanese actors, the mocap actors, they did this. We didn't get a chance to do the mocap. So I had to take the lines that were given, that were translated, transcribed, and we only have a certain amount of time, you know, giving whatever it is to say.
You got to match the flaps as well.
It's not even the flaps. We didn't have to worry about flaps.
Oh, okay.
We did have to worry about the Japanese.
The timing. Yeah.
Timing. So I'm like, okay, I got to do that. And then I have to watch the movements and what's going on in the scene.
My God.
In 101, there's a lot going on. So I'm like, how do I justify that movement? Wait a minute, the wind just blew across here. How do I justify why he turns or what makes him, you know? And so there was a lot going on in our sessions, and I just wanted to get it right. I wanted to get it right for the fans, first and foremost. Then I wanted to get it right for Square Enix and the project. And then I really, really, really wanted to get it right for Final Fantasy because it's such a world. Each one of them are such a world that's been created by some of the best writers, creators, and musical directors I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
and Hamaguchi-san, I was like, I can't let this cat down. He's a genius at what he does. So, you know, I just want to get it right, you know, and I think we did put forth a great effort.
Are you proud of what you've done so far with the character?
I am. You know, that's a tough question for me. My wife always said, you got to stop being so hard on yourself. I'm always like, it's hard for me to like watch stuff that I've done sometimes because I go, should have made this choice. I could have made this choice. But in this particular project, I'm good because Kirk knows me well.
You trust him?
We're going out. I trust him like more than I have most directors that I've been in. I've been with some directors, man. Some directors are just geniuses, you know. But for the stuff that we had to do for a 3-part series in this, he knows me well. He knew me before we got this job. He knows me well. So I trust him to say, okay, you know the tone, you know the color, you know the flavor, you know this different thing. Don't get me wrong. It's a collaboration when I see certain things. I'm like, nah, he wouldn't say it that way. But for those scenes, I trust him. I trust him, and he's directed me to a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to pull everything I can out of you, and I know he's going to. So I just go with it. And sometimes I'm like, I know which choice you're going to choose. I know which choice. And he's like, which one? And I'll tell him A or B or C or whatever it is. Because I tend to do multiple takes to make sure that we get it right. I'm just, not that I'm a hard perfectionist and everything, but I'm just critical of myself, right? So I want to get it right so that it sounds right to the fans, it feels right to the fans, and it's just in the pocket.
Is it sometimes a gut feeling?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because most of the times we don't get the words. Like, we don't know what we're going in our sessions and doing that day, you know? So
which is crazy.
I play the OG. Yeah, it's crazy. Along with all the other stuff. Got to get the time. We got to see the...
Hold on. So you're telling me those emotional scenes we were talking about earlier, you found out about that on the day?
I think I asked that, okay, when are we going to get to this scene?
Okay.
And maybe it was the day before, because a lot of times I would have sessions back to back to back. And I learned, because Barret doesn't really talk like we're talking now. I learned that I need a minute in between, or at least a few hours, right? So I say, okay, well, we'll have a 9:00 session in the AM one day, and then the next day I'm like, can we do the 2:00 so I can heal a little bit? But me, because of my efforts and working, I always would take, okay, we're done at 9:00, 4-hour session. I'm gonna go over here and do this job. Yeah, I'm like, I got mouths to feed. I'm like, Luda, I got mouths to feed. Stop moving so slow. So I was just trying to make sure that I had a little bit of a reprise to go back in the studio. But I think for that one, I asked the day before, when are we going to get to this? Oh, we're going to get to that tomorrow. I think that's what Kirk said.
So you do get a little bit of prep in your mind, at least.
For that scene.
Yeah.
A lot of other stuff in there. I mean, because everybody is talking about that particular scene. I'm like, there's 2 other things that, for me, were brutal.
What can we allude to them? Just, I think I know what you're talking about, but
there's a scene that was never in the original that you're going to see in this one, and it's who he sees, And then there's a scene in this one that you never get to see in the original, and it's when he goes home. And so those are two scenes that to me were heavy, man. It's like, the sense of familiarity with someone you love, it's always going to pull someone's heartstrings, but how you do it is when it becomes real. And so I just wanted to do it so that it was real. And, but there's 3 scenes in this new one for me that were just like, I need a minute. Before and after, especially after, you do multiple takes and there's scenes. It's not like you say a few words and you're done. There's scenes, there's a back and forth thing. So I just wanted to make sure that I got it right and I represent it well.